Cool.
Are you joking?
This is real. Come
Ace,
on.
are you using time travel to cheat?
After putting in roughly 30 hours and experiencing everything the game has to offer, I am not a fan of EXOPRIMAL, but I do believe I could eventually become one depending on how Capcom approaches live service updates for the game, because at its core, there is an incredibly fun experience hidden away behind a messy matchmaking system and strange story progression that is tied to it. But before I really jump into these aspects, including how I actually feel about the game being a live service offering, I want to throw out there will be spoilers, so you have been warned. So jumping into what exactly the core gameplay of EXOPRIMAL is, we first have to look at the matchmaking system. After the opening of the game, you have 3 options to choose from: PvP, PvE, and random. Now essentially how these work is simple. In all 3 options, you will be battling through different objectives as a team of 5 versus another team of 5 in a race to be the fastest to finish. These include anything from standing in a hill, escorting a robot, to killing an endless barrage of dinosaurs. But the key differences is in PvP, unlike PvE, the ending objective will feature both teams together so they are able to battle it out. Like these cubes, both teams have to escort through a level, they end in the same area, so teams can attack each other's objective to stop the progression. Then as you make your way through these missions, you have an indication at the top of the screen that shows how far each team is, along with being able to see red silhouettes between objectives to see how a team is doing. Then if a team falls behind another, the game will give assistance to the losing team to help it get back into the game. These include special dinosaurs that can be killed that allows your team to rack up points that make the enemy team dinosaurs stronger, or a team will get what is known as a Dominator, which allows you to take control of a large dinosaur and then get teleported to the enemy team to wreak havoc to slow down so your team can have a chance to catch up. Now of course there is a little more to the matchmaking than that, but let's talk about this third option first, random. So this will randomly choose between PvP and PvE, but it gives bonus XP. This is stupid. Why would anyone choose anything other than random? That bonus XP is actually really nice for leveling up. Definitely when you have the bonus win XP for coming out on top as a team, or even getting MVP. But this feels like an artificial way to make sure both PvE and PvP options have plenty of players, since mostly everyone will be queuing in the random for that bonus XP. But it seems weird to punish those who only want that PvP or PvE type experience, which, speaking of leveling up, you have 3 different leveling systems going on at the same time. The Battle Pass, which I don't think I really need to explain. You have your exosuit level, which is the level of whatever suit you have equipped. Then your overall player level. Now all of these give awards as you level them up, and outside of the Battle Pass, if you purchased it, I found myself able to level up my player level and suit level fairly quickly. I was able to max out awards on multiple suits and get a ton of war chests to open, which is basically EXOPRIMAL's loot box system, which isn't purchasable with real money, I should throw out, but I found myself able to unlock a ton of content in the game by the end of the story, which surprised me. Usually it's a battle to get a cool skin or item in the game like this, but I literally got legendary skins for almost every character in the game by the end of the campaign, which is just wild to me. Now on top of these awards, you earn a currency called Bitcoins, which, yeah, I can't believe they actually went with that name, but it's used to purchase items like mods that can be used across all exosuits, or special mods that become available made specifically for a suit depending on the suit's level, which I actually like this system because all mods can be upgraded to improve their efficiency, which means as you're playing as your favorite exosuit, you can level up the standard mods that are available to all exosuits. Then when you switch to a new exosuit to level up, you can equip these fully upgraded mods to help that process go faster by making you stronger. But that's enough about all that. Let's get back to what's most important in the game. Are the exosuits actually fun to use? Absolutely. Each one has such a unique playstyle that can complement one another in so many situations thanks to how the abilities have been designed. Whether that's an assault sniper that freezes enemies from a distance so a melee character can destroy them, or a tank stopping a triceratops in its tracks so the team can team fire its weak point. There is no short supply of combos that can be used. which is even more expanded upon thanks to different equipment that is shared across all exosuits. That includes weapons such as an electric shuriken that can shock dinos in place, to a drill that can cause massive damage, or even on-map pickups like platforms to get more height on enemies or pillars that boost attack power. Then to top that all off, your team is free to not only have more than one of the same exosuit on the team, but you can swap exosuits on the fly to help combat whatever situation you might find your team in. This allows for so much creativity in the combat and is one of the best parts about the game. Now, as for the standard enemies you will face in EXOPRIMAL, they are mostly unforgettable. Outside of the cool variants like the sniper and exploding dinos, or even the stegosaurs that make sound waves to disable your abilities, there really isn't much going on. And by the end of the game, it started to get boring for me fighting these enemies over and over again, but there are two instances that I never got bored of. The first was those end of the match PvP moments. The game mechanically plays so well, and in general feels pretty damn balanced. Maybe that will change over time as people discover more in depth on how to combo abilities together with teammates, but right now, I never once felt like I was cheated at any point during the PvP part of the matches. Plus, the servers are absolutely superb. I never once lagged the entire time I played. Also, never once experienced any performance issues or any kind of glitches. The game is just really well made in those regards, or at least from what I experienced on Xbox. Now, for the other instances where I absolutely love the game, and what I would consider to be hidden away gems that should have absolutely been showed off to people, is the 10-man raids, or at least I'm going to call them raids. So when you go into matchmaking, you don't get to choose what you play. You just get thrown into whatever is available to you in a map pool at that point of the game, because how you progress the story and unlock more missions is just by doing matchmaking. But at certain points in the story, when you enter a matchmaking match, your team and the enemy team will get teleported to a place where you must work together to overcome insane odds. These raids are without a doubt the best part of the game. The way you have to work together to overcome these challenges really makes the mechanics of the game shine. These raids can be challenging thanks to having a limited pool of lives shared between everyone. From the Neo Rex that creates black holes or blast the arena floor, Durban that unleashes bullet hell like laser barrage, or the final boss Leviathan that is like a mini Destiny raid that absolutely requires teamwork or you will fail. These are exceptional gameplay experiences that the entire game should have been designed around, which is one of my biggest problems with EXOPRIMAL. I'm not sure who the game is designed for, and the reason it feels that way is the fact it feels like sacrifices were made to get this game out. There should have been a single player campaign with the option of co-op where we could have got to know these characters even better. Instead, we got a story that feels very disjointed with how it's weaved into the matchmaking experience, leading to the game feeling drawn out, so players don't really get to experience what the game has to offer without really committing to grinding PvP and PvE content with no separation of the two. So this story about a rogue AI using dinosaurs to conduct battle tests through time travel is lost, and the cast of characters' potential is never realized, since the cutscenes are far and few between, with some of the more core story details happening in these small hologram scenes that you have to access through a menu. Also, the live service part of the game seems out of place. It's like they intended for it to be a full experience with story and multiplayer elements being separated, but ran out of time, so they were worried about the fact that they were charging $60 for an experience they tried to save itself by smashing everything together into one unified experience. So they said, screw it, let's just say it's a live service game and hope people are fine with more content coming down the road. So they threw in a battle pass. It's just crazy how the game feels like it's trying to be everything at once without ever being anything. EXOPRIMAL is a game that truly shines in so many spots, but the drawbacks right now makes the overall experience more of a hassle than anything. With new modes and content coming down the road, I truly believe if this game can maintain at least a decent enough player base to warrant continued support, it will eventually be a game truly worth playing. But right now, if you're not getting this as a gift or playing it through Game Pass, I just can't in good faith recommend spending $60 for an experience like this, which ultimately leads to the fact I'll never understand why they didn't go the free-to-play route for this. But even with that said, I'm glad it exists, because we just don't get enough AAA games taking risks nowadays, trying to be something different instead of following the norm. And yeah, I would have taken Dino Crisis Remake over this, but that doesn't mean EXOPRIMAL can't be a stepping stone for something even cooler down the road. Definitely when it's this damn polished.